In this video, I will continue with the rest of the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, that is from the verses 31. In my last video, I said that I explained the verses 16 to 30, and the summary of those verses are Lord Krishna said that the Atma is indestructible, immeasurable, unthinkable. It cannot be slain. It is eternal. It is ancient. And all these qualities are said about the Atma. The Atma is that. And that Atma is ourself. And that Atma indwells in our body as the Jiva. So our Jiva is that Atma. And that Atma, that is ourself, that cannot be cut, it cannot be burned, it cannot be made wet, and it cannot be dried. Nothing can be done with that Atma. And a person who thinks that the Atma can kill anyone, and or when someone can kill that Atma, they both do not know about the Atma. And that which is unreal will never come into existence, and that which is real will never go out of existence. And all the beings that are unmanifest in the beginning, they are manifest in the middle, and again in the end it will go unmanifest. So all these are said about the Atma, and he said that the Jiva, after its prarabdha karmas are over, it will cast off this body just like how we cast off our old worn up clothes, and it goes out of the body and takes a new body, new sharira. So all these are said about the Atma and the indwelling self, that is the Jiva. And now from this verse, that is the 31st verse, he tells about the Karma Yoga. Lord Krishna tells about the Karma Yoga. So let us see from the verses 31 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Verse 31. Swadharmamabhi chavekshya na vikampitumārhasi dharmyādi yuddha shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. So he starts to tell about the karma yoga and karma. Lord Krishna says that one should pursue our own dharma. That is our own duty. Whatever duty we have, we must pursue that. We must have developed our skill, we must have developed our talent, and we must have formed it as our duty. Even otherwise, we have certain duties in life. One must perform that duty with perfection, to the best of our knowledge. One should not vikampitumārhasi, one should not waver in that, one should not waver in mind in doing our duty. One must do our duty continuously in whatever situation it may be. Sometimes the situation will be favorable and sometimes it will not be favorable. Whatever it may be, we must do our duty with perfection up to our knowledge, according to our knowledge. For a Kshatriya, there is nothing better, Shreya, there is nothing better than fighting the battle. The duty of the Kshatriya is to protect the subjects of his land, and sometimes the nearby nation will come and conquer them, so he has to fight and to protect the people. That itself he has to fight, but now this is a Dharma Yuddha. So he must do his duty, and a Kshatriya, his duty is to fight in the battle. So don't abstain from that. Know that, Arjuna. That is what Lord Krishna is telling. Yadrichaya chobapannam swargadwaramapavrutam sukinaha kshatriya partha labhante yuddhamedrusham. Swadrichaya. Swadrichaya means it will come automatically. It will come automatically. Upapannam, it comes automatically. What will come automatically? Swargadwara vapavrutam. The gates of the heaven will be open for the Kshatriya who fight in the battle, which means that a Kshatriya who fight the battle, and if he loses his life in the battle, the doors of the heaven will be automatically opened for him. And Sukhina Kshatriya Partha. The Kshatriyas are very lucky, Partha, because all the other people, they have to do a lot of karma, lot of yagna, spiritual rites, religious rites. Only after that they can go to Swarga. But the Kshatriyas, they are lucky because the doors of the heaven will be automatically opened for them. Labhande yuddhamidrusham. If they fight in the battle like this, then the doors of the heaven are automatically opened for them. The next verse, that is the 33rd verse of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, says, Atha chetvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tada swadharmam kirtincha hitva papamavapsyasi. So in a battle like this, that the dharma sangramam, that is the dharma, sangrama means battle, yuddha. If you abstain from doing your duty, and because of that you are abstaining from the kirti, fame also. If you abandon all this, these two, that is, if you abandon from doing your duty and distance yourself from kirti, then papam avapsyasi, sin will incur you. So that's what Lord Krishna is telling. The sin shall incur you. And in the next verse, that is the 34th verse, it says, Akirtinchapi bhutani kadayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtihi maranadadirichyate. And the beings, all the beings, they will akirti, they will dishonor you. When? For a long time, everlasting period. That is what Lord Krishna is telling is, the history will dishonor you, Arjuna. If you abstain from doing your duty, if you do not do your duty, then the history will dishonor you. Sambhavidasya. Sambhavidasya means if you are been already honored, you are a person who have been honored, and for that person, death is better than akirti. Death is better than dishonor. For everyone it is like that, but for a person who has been honored so long, for him death is better than dishonor. That's what Lord Krishna is telling. And in this 35th verse he says, Bhayadranadhubadaram mansyante tvam maharataha yeshancha tvam bahumatah bhutva yasyasi laghavam. Bhayadranadhubadaram. The people will say, who will say? Maharataha. The great warriors who have come to the battle, for on both sides, the enemy side also and your side also, the people who have come to the battle, they are the great warriors. And you know what they say? They say, Bhayadranadhubadaram. Due to fear, you distanced yourself from the battle. They will not say that due to pity for your grandfather, due to respect for your guru, that you didn't go for the war, you withdraw from the war. They won't say like that. They will say that due to fear that you are withdrawn from the war, due to fear of Duryodhana or the Kauravas, that you didn't go to the battle. That's what they say. Yesham cha tvam bahumata. So far they have thought so great of you. Now they will take you laghava. So easily they will take you. That means they will disrespect you. So laghava, so easily they will consider you. So far they have thought so great about you. So they will take easily. They will not respect you. That's what Lord Krishna says. In the next verse, that is the 36th verse, again he says, Avachya vadancha bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindandastava samartyam tato duhkataram nukim. Avachya vadamcha, they will say so many improper words against you. Who will say? Tava ahita, your enemies. Your enemies, whether it is Duryodhana or his friends or his brothers, your enemies will say so many improper words against you. Nindandastava samartyam. They will slander your power. They will slander your efficiency. They will object your all your credits. Will it not be painful for you, Arjuna? Will it not be painful for you? Dukkataram. Dukkataram nukim. That is your enemies. They will say so much improper words against you, and they will slander your efficiency, or they will not accept your power. So far you have tried so much for this battle, but at the last time, if everything goes waste, will it not bring misery to you? That's what Lord Krishna said. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसि महीम् तस्मात्तुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः. What Lord Krishna is telling is, if you win this war, Bhokshase Mahim, you will enjoy the land. That is, you will enjoy the kingdom Hastinapur. If you lose this war and if you die in this war, you will get Swarga, you will get heaven. So either way it is profit for you. If you win the war, you can rule the nation. If you die in the war, you can live in heaven. Tasmat uttishta kaundeya. Therefore, get up, Arjuna, yuddhaya with determination, go to the battle. Here, Lord Krishna, in all these verses, Lord Krishna is just cajoling Arjuna to fight the war, go to do his duty. And that the Kshatriya's duty is to fight in the war. It is to go to the battle. So he is just cajoling Arjuna, just like how we cajole our children to go to school or to study. Just like that, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna to do his own duty, Swadharma. In the next verse is the essence of Karma Yoga. That is the verse 38 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. सुख दुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभालाभौ जया जयौ ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापमवाप्स्यसि. Lord Krishna is telling that one must, or he's telling Arjuna and he's telling for all of us, one must consider sukha dukkha equally. And labha alabha, that also equally, and jaya ajaya equally. Sukha dukkha means happiness and misery. One must consider it equally. One should not be so elevated when he experiences happiness, or when he experiences misery, he should not be so let down. He must come up above this. And labha alabha, loss, gain and loss, and jaya ajaya. Jaya means victory, Ajaya means failure. What he means by this is one should concentrate on the duty. The result is automatic. Sometimes some other factors may influence our result. But if we put so much value for the result alone, then we cannot perform the action. One must balance both this success and failure. One must not be too much involved in the result. If positive result comes, fine. If negative comes, that also fine. After some time, positive may come or may not come, but one should do the duty. One must not be too much involved in the result. That's what Lord Krishna is telling. And it's very true, and it's very needed for this period of time in this world, because some children, they put a lot of effort to study, especially after passing the board examinations. Sometimes they may or may not crack the entrance examinations for the higher studies. If they fail, they just don't think left and right. They just go and climb up the steps, go to the top floor and jump from there, without thinking about their parents or teachers or well-wishers or even the society. They cannot just take on even this small failure. According to them, concerning them, it is a great failure, of course, at this stage of life. But the life doesn't end with the entrance examination or going to the higher studies. But they fail to understand it, and their mind is molded in that way. And one of the reasons for it is the people around them and the society around them, putting so much pressure on the children. So Lord Krishna says this, one must take both this equally, and that's all matters. If you fail, you will go to the next step. Even if you get the positive result, if you have success, that also you will go to the next step, but in a different way, that's all. So one must take the success and failure equally. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyase. If you concentrate only in action, then the results will not bind you. So no sin will incur you. So that's what Lord Krishna is telling in this 38th verse of chapter 2. And it's not easy. One should develop this state of balanced mind by struggle and effort only. It won't come easily. Or you must be trained in the beginning itself for this mentality. If not, we have to struggle and get this mentality, because that it helps us a lot in all the situations. In the next verse, that is in the 39th verse also, Lord Krishna tells about the same concept. Yesha te bihita shasankye buddhi yoge tvimam shruno buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyase. Now in this verse, he gives the meaning of this chapter, that is the Sankhya Yoga. Lord Krishna says, so far I said about you, I declared about the Sankhya, that is the Atma Tattva, Atma Vidya. He said about the Atma, he said about the Jiva, he said that Jiva is the self, that is the Atma, and all that he said about the Atma Tattva only entirely. Now I'm going to tell about the yoga here, that Arjuna. Buddhya yukto yaya partha. Now connect with that wisdom. Yoga means yujyate yoga, that is, you must connect with it. Sankhya is Atma Tattva, but yoga is the application of that knowledge. One must apply that knowledge, only then we will have that change in mind. All that labha, jaya, all that should be balanced. One must take it in a balanced state of mind, Lord Krishna is telling. And for that, only Atma Tattva will help. Not even Atma Tattva, knowing Atma Tattva, that is the Sankhya, getting that knowledge of Atma Vidya. But one has to apply it, and that is yoga. Even in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, there is so much is said about the controlling of prana and raising your mental state by controlling the prana. All those are said. But one has to apply it. Only then it becomes yoga, or otherwise it is only knowledge. So that's the meaning of this chapter. Sankhya means Atma Vidya. Yoga means its application. Applying the Atma Vidya, that is Sankhya Yoga. Lord Krishna says, if you apply that Atma Vidya in your life, then prahasyasi, you can karma bandham prahasyasi, you can easily come over that cast off, that bondage of action. Then you will not have a rebirth. Only we are born to the action. That's why so many of miseries are coming in our life. If you apply this Atma Tattva, if you connect with this wisdom, if you practice Atma Vidya always, then you can come over this bondage of action. That's what Lord Krishna says. It's a very meaningful verse. Now we understand the correct meaning of this chapter, that is Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means a samyak knowledge, which is the Atma Vidya. There is no better knowledge than this Atma Vidya. The next verse, that is the 40th verse, says, नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमभ्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. He's just asking Arjuna again requesting Arjuna to practice even a little of this yoga. Then you will not have any fear about the result. Abhikrama nashosti. Then sometimes when we do an action, we will have a fear that it will become the loss of effort. If it doesn't give positive result, then it's a loss of effort. We may think like that in many of our actions. When we do, we think like that. So Lord Krishna is telling, if you practice even a little of this yoga, then we will not have that feeling of loss of effort. Pratyavaya means contrary result, that is negative result. If you do the action, involved in the action without caring for the result, concentrating only in the action for the sake of doing the action to our knowledge with perfection, then we will not have the feeling of loss of effort, or even if the contrary result comes, we will not be concerned about it. We will be able to go pass over it. That is, at that time we will be able to take jaya ajaya, labha alabha, sukha dukkha equally. We will have that balanced state of mind. We must practice it. It's the advice given to Arjuna, but it is very much needed for us in today's competitive world. So that's what Lord Krishna says. The next verse, that is the 41st verse, says, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi reheha kuru nandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhiyo vyavasayinam. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. One should have the complete one-pointed determination. The wise people will have that. One-pointed determination. You must have that one-pointed single determination, Arjuna. Kurunandana means the person who brings joy to the family of Kurus, that is the Vamsha. Bhagushaha Yanandascha. So the people who will have Bhagushaka means their determination and their concentration will be divided. Who will have thoughts like this? Avyavasayina. The people who are unwise and people who have a lot of desires, they will not have this one-pointed determination. The people who are wise, that is Vyavasayatmika, people who are wise, they must have one-pointed determination, single determination. Their concentration should not be divided. If we waver in that goal, or if we have so many negative thoughts like will it happen or not happen, and all those thoughts in proceeding towards our goal, then everything will shatter. So the wise people, they have one and only single pointed determination. That's what Lord Krishna says in this 41st verse of chapter 2. यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवद्यन्त्यविपक्षितः वेदवातरता पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः न अन्यत् अस्ति इति वादिनः. Who will argue like this? There is nothing more than this, nothing else than this. Na anyat asti iti. There is nothing else than this. Now, what Lord Krishna means here is, in Vedas there are two kandas, Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Jnana Kanda is the end of the Vedas, and the Karma Kanda, it comes in as the first section. The Karma Kanda tells entirely about the rituals, how the mantras have been, which all mantras should be chanted, what all the procedures to be followed, everything regarding the yagna, sacrifices, rituals, pujas, everything is said in the Karma Kanda. In the Jnana Kanda, it is completely a philosophical section. In the Jnana Kanda comes the Upanishad. Now the Karma Kanda, that is known as the Purva Mimamsa, that was founded by Jaimini, sage Jaimini. And the Uttara Mimamsa, that was founded by sage Vedavyasa. The Purva Mimamsa is completely about the rituals. Everything concerning the rituals, what all yagnas to be performed to get certain result. If you want to have power, we must do a certain yagna and it will give that result. What all mantras to be chanted there, procedures to be followed, who are all should participate, who can participate in that yagna, everything, every minute details about the yagnas, different types of yagnas are said in the Karma Kanda. In the Jnana Kanda, it's completely philosophy, and the Upanishads come in the Jnana Kanda. So what Lord Krishna means here is, Karma Kanda, their aim and ambition is only heaven. Reaching up to heaven is their only goal. But in Jnana Kanda, something very philosophical, the core of the being is said in the Jnana Kanda. So the people, most of the people, 90% of the people, they think that heaven is the goal for every human being. But there is something more than that. That is said in the Jnana Kanda. That's what Lord Krishna is indicating here. The people who practice the rituals, they think that heaven is their goal. But there is something more than this. That's what Lord Krishna is indicating here. One must go beyond this karma kanda. Only then a person will become wise. So that's what Lord Krishna says. In the next verse, that is the 43rd verse, Lord Krishna says, Kamatmana swargaparaha janma karma balapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gadim prati. See, that's what Lord Krishna is telling in this verse. Kamatmana swargaparaha, the people who have many desires, they think that the heaven is the ultimate. They have many desires and they think that heaven is the ultimate. But when you reach heaven, only then we will understand we cannot do any karmas in heaven. Only thing is we can exhaust our punya karmas, and when our punya karmas are exhausted, we have to come back to this karma bhumi and again involve in the repeated births. Janma karma bala pradhan. It will give repeated births. According to our duty, it will give repeated births. The stay in heaven is not permanent. The people with so much of effort, they do a lot of karmas and they go to heaven, but it is temporary. Why should you to put a lot of effort in something which is not permanent? Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. They will do many karmas, yagnas, karmas, special karmas that give heaven. They will do Vishesha karmas, Bahulam, Bhoga Ishwariya Gadim Pradi, that will give bhoga, that is enjoyment, and Aishwarya, lordship over everything. But all those are not permanent. For a certain period of time, for some time it will happen. We will can enjoy all this lordship and power, but after that we have to come back, take rebirth and come back to this karma bhumi only. So taking so much of effort for pleasure and power, it is not wise. That's what Lord Krishna says. In the next, that is the 44th verse, Lord Krishna says, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam tayapahruda chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidiyate. So that people who target the power and pleasure, bhoga aishwarya prasaktana, for them their goal and their aim is only bhoga and aishwarya. For such people, they will not have concentration of mind. Their concentration will be divided. They will not have one goal. They have many desires and many things to do. So without that one pointed determination, they cannot involve in samadhi. That is, they cannot meditate. And without meditation, we cannot apply this knowledge. That's what Lord Krishna is telling. Now the next verse, 45th verse says, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nidvanto Nitya Sattvastaha Niryogakshema Atmavan. So here Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, one must come about the three gunas. This nature, it has three attributes. That is the sattva, rajas and tamas. Sattva gives that peace of mind, have always happiness, perfection and all that. Rajas gives activity and tamas gives lethargy and laziness and all that. So these three gunas, when they are at equilibrium, there is no creation. When any one of these gunas, when it goes out of equilibrium, when it wavers, then the equilibrium is lost and there is creation. So in all these beings, these three gunas are there because it is the attributes of the Prakriti, nature. We all have these three gunas. But in a person, only one guna will be dominating. And these three gunas are absolutely needed for us. Sattva means that is intelligence, that perfection, that knowledge, purity. We need it. Then rajas means activity. We have to act. Then only we can do karma. That also absolutely needed. And then next is the tamo guna. We need it because otherwise without tamo guna we cannot take rest. Usually in the early morning time, that is in the Brahma Muhurta, or in the early morning time, that is between 4 and 6:37, up to 7 or 8, the sattva will be dominating in every person. That's why we say when we read in the early morning, we can grasp very easily. But after 9, 10, rajas will take over. That's why we feel very brisk during the daytime. In the evening, mostly after 7, lethargy, that tamas will take over. Only then we can sleep. If we have rajasic mind, then we cannot sleep, take rest. But unfortunately, in the early morning period, we miss that sattvic nature because many will be in the tamas. They will be sleeping. So that's what the wise people say, that you must use that sattvic nature. In a person, only one nature will be dominating, one guna will be dominating, followed by the rest two gunas. If the sattva is dominating, then we say that he is a sattvic person. If the rajas is dominating, we will say that he is the rajasic person. So much of activity, brisk they will have. Tamasic person, always they will sleep. They're followed by the rest. That doesn't mean the tamasic person will not have sattva or rajas, but that will not be dominating. That's what means. If you are in the tamo guna, you can, first is sattva, next is rajas, and the third is tamas. If you are in the tamo guna, you can go to the next higher stage only. You cannot just bypass rajas and go directly to sattva. It's very difficult. So from the tamo guna, you can go to rajo guna. If you are in the rajo guna, you can go to sattva guna. But if you are always in the sattva guna, it is very easy to go above these three gunas, that is to remain in that state of pure awareness or the pure consciousness, which is untouched by these three gunas. That's what Lord Krishna is telling here. Traigunya Vishayo Vedaha, know about it. Nistraigunyo Bhavarjana, go above this three gunas, surpass all these three gunas and go above the three gunas. Nirdvando, then you will not have any dualities, less pleasure or pain, worry or happiness, nothing we will have. Nirdvando, because this nature, it is because due to Maya. And the Maya is due to the Prakriti. So if you are in this Maya, if you are in the Prakriti, we will experience the dualities. If you go above the three gunas, then we will not experience anything. Nitya Sattvastata. For that, if you want to go above the three gunas, you must be always in the Sattva guna, established in that. Niryogakshema Atmavan. That is, many people have this habit. They acquire and preserve. The whole concentration is in their life goes into this. Earn, preserve, earn, preserve. In Shastras and Dharma Shastras, it is said that if you earn and if you have a luxurious life, you have a lot of money, then the perfect thing is to do dana, to give to people who do not have. By that way, you can earn punya. So that will never go without helping you. Even in the most worst situation, the dana you give will help you. So that is the perfect thing. If you have whatever you earn, from that you have to give dana. If not, at least enjoy yourself. Then you can exhaust your punya karma. But some people, they earn, they acquire, and they only preserve. They don't give dana, or they don't enjoy for that themselves also. For them, what will happen, ultimately happens is that one day or other, all this money will be destroyed by some way or other. There are so many ways in this world that all of it can be destroyed within a second. So what the Dharma Shastra says is, the best thing is to give to the people who do not have. Share with it, not everything, a percentage. If not, at least enjoy yourself. If not both, then everything will be share. It will go waste. That's what Lord Krishna is telling here. So, free from that acquisition and preservation, be established in the self. When you are in the Maya, we have to follow this. If not, go beyond the three gunas. Then all this will not bother you. Only when you are in Maya, in the nature of Prakriti, all these karmas will bind you. If not, if you are above the guna, then nothing will bind you. So be established in the self. That's what Lord Krishna is telling in this verse. And that is the end of the 45th verse of chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And I think I can take a break with this verse and I chant the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita. That is, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shrirvijayodbhutihi Dhruvani Tirmatirmama. And I will continue in my next video. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.